How to Love Again. So we'll take the example of Tanya. She always just wanted to be married. She can remember even when she was a child, she wanted to be married. Her culture was one that's a very pro-marriage culture, and her religion was a very pro-marriage religion. And so as soon as she was old enough, about 19, 20 years old, she was dating seriously with someone and moving forward with the aim to be married, which was an honorable intention in her culture. And soon enough, she was married by about 20 years old. And she had known the gentleman for a long time. And she thought that she was doing the right thing by culture, by God, by being married, a place where she could find companionship and find an outlet for her desires. However, um, over time, she started to realize she couldn't seem to make things work with her husband, who was displaying a lack of empathy and a tendency to be critical, very critical in his words. He would pout and act like he was upset, and she would ask what the problem is. And then he would just start berating her and yelling at her or tearing her down. She was always trying to fix the marriage. Once she could get him to stop yelling, he wouldn't yell, but then he would just say a lot of really mean, nasty things. He had kind of shady behavior, and anytime she would call out something that he did that seemed inconsistent, she was punished with very great anger and rage. She was embarrassed at the way he acted. She felt like it reflected badly on her as a wife. And she started to become depressed because she felt like there was nothing that she could do to fix her marriage. And her being married was one of the most important things that she had always wanted. And now, being in the marriage in her culture, it wasn't like you just leave the person and get remarried. So she felt really trapped. She felt stuck. Like, what am I supposed to do about the situation now? I'm caught here. I want to be married, but the person I'm married to is abusive emotionally and just kind of absent. He doesn't care for her needs on an intimacy level. He's just very self-centered and it's really complicated. But he acts like such a great guy in church and in the community. He has such a great reputation. He has a good job. So it's really created a confusing situation for Tanya until eventually she just decided enough was enough, especially after she caught him cheating. So she filed for divorce and she left the relationship. She very quickly got into another relationship with a coworker who was there for her and very nice, very different than her husband. Very, very nice. He was nice not just to her, but to everyone. He was nice in private. He was really, really accommodating. And she thought, hey, maybe this is what I needed is someone who's really kind, a really nice person. And the last one, I thought that I had that attraction to him, but he turned out to be abusive. And soon enough, she found herself engaged with this really nice guy, but this really nice guy had trauma of his own. And so, although he wasn't abusive or a narcissist like her last husband, this really nice guy became avoidant and abandoning. And sure enough, she found herself being constantly the one who's chasing after him, chasing the relationship, um, not getting phone calls back, not getting text messages back. And she just thinks this is horrible. Like it was just destroying her. She felt so unlovable and unloved. She got out of that relationship not by choice, but because he left her with no really great reason. And she decided, I'm never doing this again. I'm done. I've tried everything. I've tried one type of guy. I tried the other type of guy. I don't think any guys are going to work. Maybe it's men. Maybe it's me. She generalized, but she just knew she needed to stop and give up on relationships. Have you ever felt like Tanya felt? Do you feel like you need to give up on relationships? Do you feel like there is no hope because of your trauma, because of what you've been through? Do you feel like you have no chance of being able to trust someone again after what you've experienced? Well, tonight we're talking about how you can love again. And it is possible to love again, but you have to identify for you what's actually holding you back, because probably there's part of you that doesn't want to love again because you recognize that to love makes you vulnerable. And you, like Tanya, have been hurt before and you don't want to be hurt again, but you don't really know how to keep yourself from being hurt again. So you figure if I just cut the love, then I cut the pain. I don't have to worry about being hurt again. So now you have trust issues, right? Raise your hand if you feel like you have trust issues. People with complex trauma often experience betrayal, abuse, which makes it hard for them to trust other individuals, especially in new relationships. Or you might have fear of rejection. Raise your hand if you have fear of rejection. Previous traumas might lead you to a heightened fear of being rejected or abandoned, which can cause anxiety about forming new connections. Or you may fear emotional vulnerability. Just the fact that opening up and being honest in a new relationship means that you can get hurt. Being authentic in a new relationship means that you can be judged or rejected. Or maybe you have hypervigilance. So you're constantly on alert for potential threats, and then you're analyzing the facial expressions of people. And then all that is dysregulating to your system, but it's also dysregulating to the other person because they feel like they're being judged and you're analyzing their facial expressions all the time and they would like you to chill out. But you can't chill out because you've been hurt. Or maybe you have low self worth now, low self esteem. Your traumatic experiences can lower your sense of value of yourself, leading individuals to feel unworthy of love and unsure about their value in relationships. Some people just don't feel lovable, and so they don't want to try it for that reason. Or maybe now you have difficulty with intimacy, depending on what happened to you. Past traumas can impact the ability to connect deeply with others, making intimacy and closeness more challenging. So, what is your reason? What is your reason why you feel like you can't love again? You feel like you don't have time? You feel like it's too exhausting? You feel like it's too much work? You say, well, I want to focus on myself right now. Well, I don't want to get rejected. I don't want to get hurt. Is it because of financial concerns? Is it because you're already content with where you are in life? Well, it's important for us, if we want to heal, we need to avoid being avoidant. Yes, we need to avoid being avoidant. It's not going to work for us in the long term to think that the only way to keep ourselves from being hurt and to be healthy and to be good is to avoid all relationships or avoid all of a certain gender. If we were hurt by women, all women, or we're hurt by men, it's all men. The avoidant approach to life is really not an approach at all. It's a skittish way of running away from everything that could be a potential blessing. So you are literally running away from your own blessings. That's not a good start to life. So instead of being safety driven, we need to be success driven. Again, instead of being safety driven, thinking that your entire life is all about keeping yourself safe, making sure you don't get hurt again, making sure you're not exposed again, making sure you're not vulnerable again. Your whole life is not about that. Your life, you are here to accomplish something. You do well to do something, to accomplish something. So you need to be success driven. Being success driven over safety driven means not that you will disregard your safety, but that you will prioritize success, which means you will take some risks in life. When you're safety driven, you cannot take any risks because you're safety driven. But where is that really going to get you? Eventually, you wouldn't be able to leave your house at all, right? That's the logical progression of a safety driven mindset is that I can take less and less risk. So, no, I'm not going to go outside. No, I'm not going to leave my house. No, I'm not going to get in a car. No, I'm not going to talk to other people that I don't already know. It's safety, 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 safety makes you less and less and less and less free, and you grow less. So you curl yourself up into a ball. Being safety driven over success driven is not an adaptive way of life. So you need to be success driven, more so than safety driven, more so than safety driven. Success driven is the ability to set goals and to reach out for those goals. Although there is some risk, anything you want to do in life requires some level of exposure, right? And so instead of saying, well, I don't want to expose myself because I don't want to get hurt, your whole purpose here is not just to avoid getting hurt. You realize that at some point in life, something changed for you. You became afraid. But gratefully, you weren't so afraid when you were that little toddler who needed to learn how to walk and talk. You were able to go out and expose yourself to the risk. And guess what? You fell. You fell when you were learning how to walk. You didn't just one day say, I'm tired of crawling, and then get up and say, hey, does anybody want anything from the grocery store? I'm just going to make a run down the street. That's not what happened. That's not how you learn to walk. You had to stumble and fall many times. When you're success driven, you realize that the stumbling and the falling is a part of the progress of achieving your goals, meaning that failure is is the essential part of success. Failure is a prerequisite to success. Do you understand that? Stumbling and falling is how you learn to walk. Failure is how you learn to succeed. Right? Any entrepreneur who's been successful in business will tell you, yeah, I started many, many businesses, like a lot, like 5, 6, 7 businesses. And guess what? Most of them failed. They didn't work. And so I needed to learn from those mistakes, not just sit and be burned by those mistakes, not just slump down into a corner and say, darn it, I lost money. Darn it, I disappointed my investors. Darn it, I'm in debt now. I'm not going to do anything now. I'm not exposing myself anymore. Because if you stop, then that is the true failure, because then you really have to fail because you stop. But when you keep moving forward, you can learn and grow from your old mistakes, even though you're limping and nursing an injury as a result. You understood this instinctively when you were a child, because you could have a whole lump on your head right here and you're still running around. But the lump is from you messing up, you falling. But you didn't decide, oh no, I'm not walking again. No. And if you did, then your parents would help you to develop the bravery to go again. No, it's okay. Try again. Try again. And you had to stumble in your words when you learned how to talk. Relationships are no different now as adults. The only way to have a successful relationship, which, let's be honest, it's what you've always wanted. You don't want to have unsuccessful relationships and then just stop and just be you and your cats. That's not your dream. And if it is, that's fine. But for most of you, that's actually not your dream. You actually always wanted to have a family. You always wanted to have friends that you're close to. You always wanted to have maybe a husband or a wife. And if that's a desire of yours, it's not a wrong desire. But if you want that success, you have to learn how to achieve it, because it's not as natural. It doesn't just come naturally to you as Tanya thought it would by just marrying the first person that was available as soon as she was old enough. You know that now because your first relationship or marriage didn't succeed, did it? The failure is not your indication to stop. Your failed relationship is not your indication to stop. That's not the point of it. If you stop, then really you derive no value from it. Now you're making it a waste, because all of the value is in the lessons that you learned. And if you can't go into another relationship, then you can't apply those lessons that you've learned. So you have to change your mindset around failure and around relationships. and realize that the failure is the prerequisite to the success. It is through the process of doing something and seeing how it can all go wrong and how bad it can all be and how wicked some people are. That now educates you to be able to move forward and have a greater degree of success. When we become avoidant and we say, oh no, I'm just going to run away, you realize you're just making yourself more vulnerable to end up in another relationship just like the last. Because you're going to deprive yourself and then you're going to feel desperate and you're going to be in scarcity mindset. And then so the first person who comes around, he's got a little charisma or she's talking slick to you, or she's really pretty. You're going to be like, wow, maybe just this time. I feel so desperate. I've been waiting so long. I've been alone for so long. You start to rationalize, You say, yeah, I think this one's going to be okay. I think I just got to try it. Just let me get a little taste of it. And bam, the narcissist has got you because the only person that's going to chase you is a predator when you're an avoidant. Again, the only person that's going to chase you when you're an avoidant is a predator, not a healthy person. A healthy man's going to see you're avoidant and be like, well, let me give her space. Apparently, she's not interested. You realize that. So you've guaranteed by deciding, coming up with the idea, no more relationships for me, you've guaranteed that the only chance of a relationship is going to be with a predator, someone who's hunting you down. That doesn't sound like a good plan. So let me break you out of that now. Avoidance needs to be avoided. What we need to do instead is move into abundance. Abundance means that you'll pursue your interests, you'll pursue your purpose, you'll pursue your ministry. And as you do that, notice how suddenly there's people and they become your tribe. Again, when you pursue purpose, then the tribe is attracted to you because they see you in flow. They see you focus on your purpose. They see your dedication to your passion. And then they're attracted because they want some of that energy and they're going to come around you. And guess what you're going to have? You're going to have men and women who are all around you, who have the same vision, the same passion, the same goals. And you might find one of them to be a healthy mate and go on and live happily ever after. But what you need to do is be in abundance. And that does mean that you need to entertain multiple suitors. Instead of saying, no, 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 I can only get to know one person at a time. No, you need to get to know like a group of people at a time. Why? Because we don't have all day. We have limited lifespans here, right? We don't want to still be doing this when we're 90. So right now, get to know a bunch of people at once. Just talk to them. Use the vetting list. This is hard. Stop it. Stop it. What's hard is avoiding relationships for years and then getting hunted down by another predator and getting your life torn down again and getting abused again. Being abused is hard. Being in abundance is not hard. Being in abundance is beautiful. Yes, it takes work to vet people. It takes work, yeah. But it's beautiful. You can do that in your pajamas at home. You can have a spreadsheet. You like organizing things anyway. Let's be honest. And so you put you have a chart and you put people's names on the chart and like, here's this person. Here's where I'm at with this person. Oh yeah, I talked to this person. I already asked them this question. I already asked this person this question. And do you see how as you start moving through and you're getting to know multiple people simultaneously, if a predator were to come along, you're not in a vulnerable position because you're living in abundance. So you would get to know them in a slow, gradual way, and you will be assertive and you'll set your boundaries. And guess what? One day you're going to see who they really are. And it's going to be easier because you're not just falling in love with this one person that is the only person in your life because you're in scarcity. But instead, you're going to, get to know lots of people. And as you get to know this person, you say, this person's behavior wasn't very nice. After I started setting boundaries and being assertive, look at the way he falls apart. Look at the way he loses his temper, right? Maybe I'm going to push him out and I'm going to go talk to some of these other people over here because you're associating with multiple potentially healthy prospects simultaneously. It's the opposite of avoidance. Well, wait a second. Wait a second. What if we're going to get hurt? What if we might get hurt again? Is that what you said when it was time to learn how to walk? Is that what you said when it was time to learn how to talk? You failed tests in school. Did you just quit? Did you drop out in the seventh grade when you got your first D? Oh my gosh, a D on an assignment? I'm done with this. I'm going to go work in a factory. Ma'am, you're 13 years old. Is that what you did? No. The failure is a process of learning. So, although we've been hurt before, we need to adopt the mindset I'm ready to be hurt again. No, come on. How can we just go and be hurt again? I never want to go through what I went through. You do. You want to be rejected and you want to be abandoned. You want to be good at it. You want to be used to it. That's what we need to learn, to not be so sensitive to rejection and abandonment, but to go through it, to cry it out for a day, but to be okay. Why? Because we live in abundance and we have many other friends, many other people that we're talking to, many other possible prospects. Again, what if I'm going to get hurt? Of course, you're going to get hurt. Change the way you're thinking. Your job in life is not to keep yourself safe. Your job in life is to achieve your purpose. That's primary. To fulfill your ministry is primary. How are you serving? That's primary. Secondary to the fulfillment of your potential, secondary to that is to look after your safety. And so you'll mitigate circumstances and negotiate with life in a way that will be safe, right? So here's how that looks. If I don't want to get in a car accident, I make the whole purpose of my day to stay safe, then I will not leave the house. Right? Very simple. If I make the whole purpose of my day to go to the grocery store, which I have to drive to, then I will have to leave the house. Does that mean I disregard safety? No. I'm going to go during the daytime. I'm going to go when there's not a lot of traffic. I'm going to get in my car and drive safely. I'm going to wear my seatbelt. I'm not going to talk to strangers. You understand? I'm not going to carry a lot of cash. I'm going to do certain things to mitigate the circumstances so that I can stay safe while achieving my goal. This is how you must approach relationships as well. Instead of, I don't want to get hurt again. Okay, now it's time to grow up. Welcome to adulthood. We're going to get hurt. We're going to get abandoned. So you're going to move forward with a success-oriented mindset, and you're going to mitigate circumstances in order to keep yourself safe. What does that look like? You're going to join the club. You're going to get active in the congregation in your community over here. You're going to reach out and talk to your neighbors. You're going to get on meetup.com and join the interest groups, and you're going to go out and you're going to focus on the goal, which is actually the purpose, the interest group, the interest, the hobby, the ministry. You're going to focus, right? And as you become good at what you're doing, you will naturally become likable, popular to the people who are also doing it. They will be drawn to you. Now, as you start to draw these people to you, don't shy away from the relationships. You're going to accept the relationships. Sure, you want my number? Here's my number. Sure, you want to call me here? You can call me here. Here's this. Here's my account, my social media. You can hit me here. You're going to accept the invitations. You're going to go out and hang out with the groups of people and get to know the people and allow yourself to be known. You're going to show up as authentic. Well, how are we going to keep ourselves safe? We're going to mitigate circumstances. We're not going to hang out with people alone. We're going to go out in a group. We're not going to just get to know one guy or one girl and just go isolate ourselves with them. No, we're going to get to know multiple guys and multiple girls simultaneously. Talk on the phone with them. Text with them first. Get to know them. Get to know other people that know them. What is their reputation like? What's their history, their dating history like, right? We're going to use the vetting questions that you can find inside the app, Mind by Roman Zanoni for iPhone and Android. I'm sure you already have it downloaded. It's in the resources section under relationships. We're going to use the vetting questions so we can ask questions. You're going to create your own vetting questions. You're going to ask questions. You're going to take time, months, getting to know people, getting to know them. Why are we doing it like that? We're mitigating for safety, but we're driving towards success. We're mitigating for safety, but we're driving towards success. Does that make sense? And then what happens if we find someone and we start to feel like we want to have feelings? Snap out of it. Don't have a bunch of feelings for someone who you barely know. You're not allowed to allow a lot of feelings to develop for someone until you know their flaws, because you can't truly love a person if you don't know their flaws. Again, you're not allowed to let feelings develop until you know the flaws of the individual, because you can't truly love a person if you don't know what their flaws are. Anything else is just limerence and infatuation. But this isn't third grade. This isn't third grade. So we don't want to be caught in limerence and infatuation. Oh my goodness, I love this person. They're so amazing. Oh, I'm gonna fantasize about us being together. That's not appropriate. Welcome to adulthood. We're not going to fantasize about us being together. We're going to look at them. We're going to get to know them. We're going to observe their good qualities. We're going to take our time until we get to know what some of their flaws are. And then when we have a more well-rounded picture of the person, then we can pursue the relationship further. Right? We're going to look for a commitment from the person. We're going to look to see that this person is meeting our standards, all of the standards that we have pre-written down. We're going to see how they respond in different situations in life, and that they are willing to commit to us, that they are truly pursuing. And then we can make a decision. Now, what if we get this far with the person and there's commitment and there's love and it's all in the air and it's really going somewhere? Aren't we exposed to getting hurt? Yes. So let's go down this road. Let's say that you've done everything I told you to do, and now they got you the ring, they're engaged to you, and then you get hurt. Maybe you find out they're abusive or avoidant, or they start cheating. Okay. That's the worst thing that can happen, right? Or they die, right? That's pretty much it. Abusive, cheating. Did I miss anything? They die. What else are you afraid of? They turn out not to be what they said they were. Okay. So what do you do? What do you do in this situation? Oh no, this person wasn't everything I thought they were. What do you do? You disconnect. Disconnect. Yeah. Try again. Correct. It happens. It can happen to anyone. Anyone can be lied to. Anyone can be deceived. Anyone could miss something. Be grateful that you realize now. Oh, darn it. I thought you were the one, but now I realize you're not. Will you be hurt? To the extent that you've allowed your love and your feelings to get involved, yeah, you'll be hurt. So what do you do with the pain, with the hurt? Will that be the end? Will you say, I can never do it. I can never love again? Well, no, that wouldn't be healthy. If you want to cry, that's fine. Go ahead and cry it out for a day. But if you're living a well-rounded life, if you're spiritual and you're praying and you have lots of an abundance of relationships, and you're focused on your passion, you're focused on your purpose, there's only so much time. You realize, like, this person was not everything to you, and that's why you won't be devastated when you lose them. Yes, I said when you lose them, because we're all losing everyone all the time, aren't we? So embrace the fact that it's temporary, instead of trying to avoid an inevitability of life. The temporary nature of your relationship is an inevitability. It's built into the fabric of the universe. There is no way to avoid that. Like, no, I want a relationship that lasts forever. That's not the way things are right now. We don't live in that version of planet Earth right now, where we get relationships that last forever. We don't get that. Somebody dies, and if somebody dies, the other person gets hurt. That's at best. And a lot of people who stay together till death, I'm not sure they were all happy the whole time. Sometimes they just felt stuck and were like, forget it. I'm not starting over. Don't worry that you lose a relationship. Rejoice in the fact that you had something that you were able to love for a while. Allow yourself to face the heartbreak, to face the rejection, to face the pain, and you will be surprised when you go about it with an adaptive mindset. That is, that you're expecting that this may happen. You were grateful in every moment, present in every moment, and you have an abundance of things in your life. You're centered in your relationship with yourself, your creator, your friends, your family. This person is one part of your life. So you will not be devastated when you lose them. This is what Tanya learned. And Tanya tried it. And she said, this is crazy. I've never dated multiple people at once. This is insane, Roman. But then she found a relationship that she really liked. And she went on to live her life and have that relationship. And it was good for a long time. And then it all fell apart. But you know what was crazy? She was ready to love again after that. She didn't feel she didn't feel upset. Like it happened. She felt a little sad, but it wasn't debilitating to her because this time she had approached it from a standpoint of abundance and from a place of personal power. So Tanya was able to learn to love again, and you can love again as well.